Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching for today, the 18th of May. It is Sunday. We do have a 10-game main slate ahead of us. Getting a little late jump on the morning. Just did not want to get out of bed. But we are here. We're going to take a look at pitching. This is the first look at the pitching options on the slate. I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play on FanDuel, I will cut my pool into a half or so. You don't have to be as creative. Pricing isn't as tight. It allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, with that being said, let's jump in. Don't have any real weather issues to worry about here. A couple of the best environments for hitting. Miami, surprisingly, even though that ballpark's a little bigger. More of a pitcher's park. Cincinnati, of course, slight blowing out, which is always nice. Boston, winds blowing out. That could be an interesting spot, especially for some Braves bats. Philly, across the field, but we get Skeens versus Abel. It's an interesting pitching matchup. Baltimore, warm, blowing across the field as well. Maybe we see some runs in that park. But we are here to talk pitching. Slight delay concerns in KC, so that is interesting as well. We get a couple guys making their season debut. One of them making their MLB debut today. Very interesting. But we will get to him when that game pops up here. Houston, Texas. Framber Valdez, Jack Leiter. Framber really settled in the last couple. 3 out of the last 4 with 23 plus. Always a plus. Not as strong on the road. And I believe that's been his traditional take in years past. Plus 105 to earn the W. Which is pretty strong. Especially since Houston's just minus 120 favorites. Those lines don't really correlate a ton to me. So it's an interesting take. K-prop of 5.5, juices on the under, which puts him at the 4th best K-prop on this slate. From a K standpoint, this isn't the greatest slate for pitching. I will be using some Framber Valdez for sure. Next up, Jack Leiter. Other side in this game, K-prop of 4.5, basically a pick'em. Plus 320 to earn the W, which seems really, really low considering Texas is just plus 100 on the money line. Like I said with Valdez, some of that comparison just doesn't work. That's going to be the case here as well. With Texas being so close from a money line standpoint, to see Leiter at plus 320 is really shocking. It's not like they've been yanking him after 4 innings. No, he hasn't topped out, or he has topped out at 90 pitches. Maybe that plays into it a little bit. Coming off a strong start against Colorado, but everybody but Zach Gallen apparently has strong starts against Colorado. His walks are up since returning from the IL, which obviously, big issue. Maybe he's not quite healthy yet. I'm not sure, but he's in consideration. I just don't think I'm going to end up on Jack Leiter. I just really have to get a deeper take of that game at this point. Zach Eflin has been pretty solid. Not spectacular by any means, but solid. He's intriguing enough. Baltimore's minus 198 favorites despite their struggles. K-prop of 4.5 is basically a pick'em. But he is plus 145 to earn the W, which is very similar to Paul Skeens' number. Similar to Freddie Peralta as well, who we'll get to later on. I'm just not sure if there's enough K upside for me. Price has gone up as well for him. I just don't think he can match a lot of the other guys. So I have a feeling he ends up outside of my pool. It's one of the better hitting environments on the slate. Game total 9.5. Juiced on the under, but it is tied for the highest total on the slate. Might not be a spot I really want to deal with. Soroka can show some strikeout upside. And we know that Baltimore has struggled offensively, but I just don't think we need to dive that low on this particular slate. The Braves of Boston, Spencer Swellenbach. Definitely a guy that I like utilizing. Has some K ability. Ks have come down a little bit recently. Had a rough stretch. LA, Arizona, even struggled a little bit with St. Louis. But, I mean, he had that dominant performance against Miami early in the season. It's kind of shocking to see that was the only performance over 19 fantasy points. 19.7, I guess, was the second highest. But with the hitting environment in Boston, maybe we just don't go with Schwellenbach. He's tied with Framber Valdez with the fourth best K prop at 5.5, juice to the under. And he is plus 135 to earn the W, which is better than Eflin, better than Skeens, better than Peralta later. Not too far behind Shane Baz. But game total 9.5, juice to the under. Braves are minus 125 favorites, but still might have to pass. But I still like the idea of attacking Boston with some pitching. They're not striking out, obviously, as much as they did to begin the season, but they still strike out the third most in all of baseball. The tied for the fourth most over the last 3 games as well. They aren't striking out as much at home, which obviously is important. I mean, but they're still in the bottom third when it comes to that number as well. I think I'm going to consider him pretty hardly here, roughly, or I don't even know what word I'm looking for. But am I going to get there? I just don't think so. I'm not really going to get to Brian Bayo either. He's shown some strong ability. Walks are an issue. Not picking up a ton of strikeouts. Did dominate a Twins team that might have been the last time they lost, for in all honesty. But I just don't think we need to go there. Pitt, Philly, here's an interesting spot. We get Paul Skeens. Which version of Paul Skeens are we going to get? I'm not sure. Walks have been up. Strikeouts just aren't the same. I'm going to probably mention that his arm angle change might have something to do with his lack of strikeouts. And probably some walks. Still getting used to it. But when things click like they did against the Dodgers, he's absolutely dominant yet. His K-prop is 6.5, juice to the under. It is the number 1 K-prop on this slate. He is plus 140 to earn the W. Pittsburgh is just minus 112 favorites. Philadelphia does have some power. Philadelphia does have some strikeouts. I think he's definitely in play. I think we just have to utilize him because he might have the highest ceiling on the slate from a pitching standpoint, and I don't really want to miss out on that. On the other side, Mick Abel making his major league debut. Great spot from an opponent standpoint as far as opposing lineups. Probably not ideal to face Skeens, but again, this version of Skeens might not be the same as last year's. What do we expect from Abel? I haven't really dug into the number of innings, but he's obviously thrown 46 1/3 this season already. Top prospect-ish. Game total 8.5 in this one. He's plus 360 to earn the W. But one of the biggest things is Pitt is averaging the fewest runs in baseball on a per-game basis. They have scored 4 runs or less in 22 straight games. That's a rough stretch. I think Mick Abel makes a ton of sense in his major league debut, unless we dig in and find out that he's only going to see 4 innings. That plus 360 win prop, despite Pittsburgh being just minus 112, is a little concerning, but still, it is a great matchup for him. Now we get to Toronto and Detroit. Jose Barrios going to make my pool, I think. I mean, he's all over in terms of performances. Walks, no strikeouts, some walks with strikeouts, no walks with a bunch of strikeouts. He has struggled at home this year, and I believe that's different from the past. I'll have to dig in again, but I am intrigued a little bit. I don't think I can't say for sure he's not going to make my pool, but, I mean, Detroit does have the best record in baseball, which is strange to say. Barris was K-Prop at 5.5, juice to the under, so he's tied with Framber Valdez and a couple other guys. He's plus 190 during the W. Toronto's minus 130 favorites. Game total 8.5. I think there's a lot of things that say that he's just fine to play. I'm going to want to see that Detroit lineup a little bit, but he may not end up in my pool, but at least he's in consideration. I don't really want to use Jackson Jobe. He's not really much of a K guy at this point. He did strike out 7 last time out against Boston, but a bunch of walks. Toronto just doesn't strike out enough for me to believe that he has K upside in this matchup. I do believe as the year rolls on and then into the future, he is going to showcase more K ability. Cleveland, Cincinnati, one of the better hitting environments on the day. Game total 9, juice to the under. But we have a couple of pitchers that I think have routes to winning performances. Hate the price tag on Andrew Abbott, but he's been dominant at home so far this season. I mean, he dominated even a St. Louis team that's a tough matchup. He didn't pick up strikeouts, which we don't really expect in that particular matchup because they don't strike out a whole lot. Cleveland, I'm not sure where they land in the strikeout metrics. I know years, but yeah, they're 10th fewest in baseball. The last number of years, they just haven't struck out all that much. So, but I like Abbott quite a bit. That Cleveland lineup is weakened. Left-handed pitching against them, I think, should fare pretty well. He's plus 170 during the W. K-Prop of 4.5, juice to the over. So I think I'm going to take some shots with Andrew Abbott. On the other side, Luis Ortiz. K-Prop of 5.5, basically a pick'em. He's tied for second best K-Prop on the slate with Shane Baz. But he's plus 225 during the W despite Cincinnati being just minus 125 favorites. Coming off of a great performance against Philly. 3 out of his last 5 starts have been for 21 plus fantasy points. So 4 out of his last 6 actually. Throwing the ball really well, but he does have some tendencies to struggle, walks, etc. So super dangerous in this ballpark, but Cincinnati has given up some pretty big pitching performances to some mediocre pitchers so far this season. Or not stud pitchers. I shouldn't say mediocre, because like Max Meyer had a career high performance, and I don't consider him a mediocre pitcher. He's just young. But yeah, let's getting to the next game. It's Shane Baz for me. I am going to go to him. He hasn't looked great the last 3 starts. Strikeouts were there last time, but home runs have been an issue. Taking on a Miami lineup that I think can be gotten or had by him. Second best K-Prop at 5.5. He's a minus 166 favorite. And he is plus 125 to earn the W, which is one of the better win odds on the slate. So he's going to make my pool for sure. St. Louis, Kansas City. Now, 2 teams I don't necessarily love taking pitching against, but I do like these pitchers. Liberatore has been really solid. I think I'm just going to have to close my eyes and go with him. Kansas City doesn't strike out a whole lot, but still, Liberatore has been really good, and this isn't exactly a slate filled with strikeout upside from a pitcher standpoint. Michael Wacha, kind of a revenge thing, taking on his former squad. I think he's in play, but if I removed one of the guys from this game, I think it would be Wacha. And Liberatore is actually a minus 115 favorite. Minnesota, Milwaukee, both guys going to be in play for me. Minnesota just keeps winning, but Freddie Peralta against that weekend lineup without Correa and Buxton, I think there's upside for Peralta. Zebby Matthews had some rough numbers last year at the majors, but that was skewed by 2 games. He allowed 2 earned runs or less in 6 out of his 9 starts. So he's somebody that I definitely want to play, especially because Milwaukee is struggling a ton. Last game, Colin Ray, win slightly blown in, low total. He's a minus 305 favorite. K-Prop of 5.5, juice to the under. Colin Ray going to definitely be in play. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. Links will be in the description below. You can use promo code Razzle, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.